Can I tell you the big thing about that I've been struggling with? And I think that gets into kind of what we're talking about, because we're talking about trial and trauma, right?
Right.
So it's trial on trauma, trauma on trial. Maybe we should have figured that out before we got on camera and started recording us and making people listen to us. But
We'll fix it.
you know, that's fine. We'll fix it in post. I guess the issue that I'm thinking about is so what I want to do is provide a place for clients and lawyers to come to hear some cool stories. Not that we want to do war stories, we want to protect clients' perspectives. I also want lawyers to come to and listen to this podcast to find out new ways to see their clients' problems that they might not have looked at differently, could look at differently. Because if you try to solve it the same way and you get different results, Einstein says that's a definition of insanity. However, like, I kind of want to talk about that. I want to talk about, like, what does it take to break the identity of being a lawyer? And I think that's when I look back at, like, where I got now, and we were talking a little bit about this. I think this is my 19th year of having a license, and 18th or 19th year of practice, depending on how you cut it. And we were talking about these old lines, like seeing the practice of law. And it's not just the fact that they're old. I don't want anyone that's older than me. I don't want to, I want to beat you up a little bit. I don't want to beat them up. But I guess where I want to get to this is that there's a lot of things that have changed. Technology has changed. The client's expectations have changed. And I think that we can all agree that even since COVID, interpersonal relationships within American society have changed. And so, like, there's almost like this fracture happening. It's happening in the medical industry. There's not enough doctors, and they've been trying to solve this for a longer time. Now we're seeing recently, we were planning on doing this before I even learned this information, that there's this lack of lawyers. So we're talking about that as an issue, because we want clients that aren't represented. When you don't represent people's needs, now other people's interests that have the money to have the lawyers, the government, the localities, have the ability then to not be challenged in places that they really ought to be challenged. And so you get this, help me out here.
Well, one of the things that I was getting at, one of the places and areas where we are seeing that affect lawyers so much is with AI. And we talk about this all the time, where somebody gets into a car accident and they call their uncle, and their uncle either, one, pretends like he knows everything in the world there is about law, or two, he says, you need to call a lawyer. Well, what does that person do in 2026? Do they pay a lawyer $500 or say, I got a lawyer right here, his name is Chat, and I can talk to Mr. GP and he'll tell me exactly what to do?
He's going to tell me exactly what to do. Right. The problem that a lot of that stuff comes down to is clients' ability to actually implement the change or implement what they're suggesting. Because you can, just like I was talking about on the Facebook Live event that we were talking about, you'll talk to clients on the phone when the police are there and tell them, don't say anything. And then the client will literally turn to the perceived police, I guess, and say, my lawyer says not to say anything. I'm not going to answer. And then start telling the whole story about what happened as they're being told, you literally just told them, don't talk. And so there's this functionality, there's this ability to do. I guess, so the podcast, what I think I really want it to be about is how do we reconsider the identity of a lawyer in the 21st century? Because I think we've now been influenced by all these old cats. And the other thing I think within the past 80 years is that certain things that lawyers used to do in society have been carved away. We've got therapists, we've got social workers, which are all very important. However, now they've taken away the complete realm of what lawyers used to do, and lawyers haven't known where to go back and retain that, because now we used to call ourselves attorneys. Remember that?
And the reason that's so important is because with Chat, and what Chat has essentially done is it's mapped out the fact that they've seen these 25 old lawyers sitting under trees, old lions. You take their information collectively, you consolidate it, and you spit out the answers they would have come up with. And so what you were explaining to me, and this is how you got me out of Game of Thrones, and I figured out I really should listen to this guy, is you said, well, if a computer can think like those 25 old lawyers, how do I still have a value in 2026 as a lawyer?
Right.
And it must be from thinking about things differently.
Right.